With BYD dominating the international headlines and expansion, it was about time that Geely stepped up their international game. And this is their first entry into the UK. So now, for the second time on the channel, this is Inside China Auto, and this is the Geely EX5. Yes, this is the Geely EX5, or the E5 as it was when we reviewed it in Ningbo in China about 18 months ago. And it is Geely's first entrance into the UK market, apart from the Horizon Supervan, which we have of course covered on the channel as well. And we are expecting them at some point to bring Lynk & Co and Zeekr, or maybe just Zeekr with some Lynk & Co's under that badging. We'll have to see how that all works out. But yeah, let's get into the Geely EX5. Just like it was in China, it is a fully electric car. It's front wheel drive, so good tight turning circle on this, quite nippy, and loads of boot space as well. It's coming in against cars like the Jaecoo J5 and possibly even the J7 and the Omoda E5, and of course cars like the BYD Atto 3, which has just been updated in China, which might mean they're going to have to update this fairly soon as well. But let's just present this car as it is right now. And of course, Geely Galaxy's design pretty much designed to not be too offensive. So we get lots of smooth surfaces, little kind of inoffensive nose here, quite edgy lights. I do like these little kind of light details in there, and a daytime running light at the top. You will notice that we have lost the daytime running light around here. The actual part is still there, but they don't tend to light up in international markets. That's probably a regulation thing. Otherwise, I suspect they might be in there. But yeah, smooth front, fake air inlets down there. We do get a sensor at the bottom of the bumper, and I believe an active grille on this as well to kind of channel the air into the car. We don't get a frunk under here because it is front wheel drive, and the engine and the motor is all in there. I believe it's a 9-in-1 electric motor, so all the other gubbins that support the motors all in one unit in there to kind of save space, but still no space for a frunk. Along the side, again, still pretty inoffensive, lots of soft styling. We have the max version of this car, which means that we get the 19-inch wheels, and for aero wheels, I think these are pretty nifty. They look really, really good. And again, good proportions on this car. It's about 4.7 meters long, I think, so very much in the mid-sized car segment. We get standard mirrors over here with blind spot monitoring in there as well. Pop-out door handles. These are going to be banned in China in the future, so that's probably going to change as well. Lovely soft stuff down the side, and yeah, nothing that exciting to talk about. We do get roof racks or roof rails, so if you do want to put some stuff on the roof, you do have the option to do that. Down here is our charging port on the front right, so a lot of cars have it at the back. We've got it at the front on our car. 100 kilowatt DC charging on this. That will do 10 to 80% in about 20 minutes on the right charger. As I've discovered here in the UK, we don't have many good chargers, and they're all pretty slow, and they're all pretty expensive. So that's a little bit naff. But yeah, this is the front of the EX5. Looks pretty good, and much the same around the back. At the rear, that inoffensive styling continues with round, blobby surfaces, kind of a fake diffuser down there, but we do at least get a quite distinctive daytime running light that wraps all the way around the side of the car and back again. Some nice details in there, looks quite attractive at night. We've got a spoiler at the top here and a rear window wiper, and on the max version of this car, we get an electronic boot lid as well. Inside here, 461 litres of space, so about 21 more than an Atto 3, about 19 less than you'll get in a Jaecoo J5. But it's not a useless boot space. We get a boot cover there. You can lower the boot floor to a second level to make it taller, and we get an additional 51 litres down there at the bottom of the boot to hide things that you might want to keep a little bit more secret. For size reference, here's my daughter's pram. You can quite easily fit two of those in there side by side. The other good thing about this car, fold down the rear seats, which go down 40-60, almost flat, up to 1,800 litres of space. So it is quite a spacious car, this one. Bit of space down the side, a speaker there for our Fly Me sound system. Overall, a practical family car. But is the interior more exciting than the exterior? Let's see. Our channel sponsor today is China EV Marketplace. You're watching this video because you're interested in Chinese cars, but did you know that many of the ones that you can't get in your country, you can get via China EV Marketplace? If you are interested,
They do international shipping, they do door-to-door delivery, and they offer the best prices via their website. And if you're in the EU, where you need EU homologation in order to get a registration for your car, they will also do that for you as well. You can check out their website. It's linked in the description below and in the pinned comment as well. On there, you can find all the cars that are available, the prices, the specs, and the final cost calculator, including any taxes and things like that. Don't forget, by the way, if you go for a used car, that doesn't get tariffs on it. So if you're interested in a used car from China, you can probably get an even better deal on it than that. So yeah, check them out in the description below if you are interested in getting any of the cars that you see in any of our other videos.
And now, back to the video. When I drove this car in China, the interior that I had was pink with rose gold. And while that's an interesting interior, not exactly the one that I would go for myself, you actually can't get that in the UK version of this car. Instead, we get this rather classy white and blue interior. I love white and blue interiors. I think they look very fresh, very kind of open and expansive. Works really well here in the EX5. And I had the Polestar 3 last week. My wife actually said she preferred the interior of the EX5, which is pretty high praise. That was a lot darker, a lot more black. This is a lot more uplifting and white. And we get some decent materials on here too. So we get some squidgy stuff on the dash, some lovely faux leather around the center console, which is kind of driver focused. We get some silver birch style plastic on the dashboard. So while it is plastic, it does look good and feels a little bit like wood. And we get some squidgy stuff in the doors and a bit of gloss black plastic as well. But overall, a very uplifting and really quite nice interior in the EX5. Now when it comes to tech, the main thing here is in the center. It's a 15.4 inch touchscreen, runs on the Fly Me Auto system. It's not quite as good as it is in China, but it is still a pretty good system. You can control your ventilation by swiping on the front page, so no need to go into the ventilation to control that. The downside is, while you can customize the toolbar, put some different apps on there or different controls for things like your ventilation or your seat heating, for example, you cannot put maps on the toolbar. And in order to get to maps, you've got to go into apps and click on map. That's one click too many, if you ask me. You can ask the car, but again, you've got to wait for the car to sort it out, but she will put the maps on for you. Now in here, you do get settings for your things like ambient lighting, so you can control that around the car. Again, makes the interior look quite nice. You can also turn off a lot of bings and bongs in your driver assist. Spoiler alert, you have to do that every time, which irritates the tits off me. So just one thing, I think Geely needs to make that a one button thing. Again, I'll talk about that during the driving section. Now we do get some cool stuff with the audio. On the max version of this car, which we have 16 Fly Me sound speakers. So you can see 3 on the dashboard there, more in the doors and more in the roof, plus the bass unit in the boot. Gives you a really good sound system, and you can go into the spatial sound here and change where it comes from. You get some speakers in your headrest, so you can get audio controls just through there, or you can go into virtual arena and put it into recording studio, music hall, opera house, or concert to really change the way that your music is delivered by the system. So again, that's really nice. Other apps, we also get Spotify, Audible, and Amazon Music. We don't yet get YouTube or TikTok, things like that. I suspect they may come in a future update. We also get wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay for those who like to connect their phone that way. So a really good system there. We get a screen in front of us here. It's about 9 or 10 inches, gives you the usual driving functions. And on the top version of this car, we also get a 16-inch head-up display as well, which gives you your speed and some control functions too. In the center here, we get a few manual controls. So we've got some ventilation controls there for your front window mister, turning your fan on and off and so on. And then we get this dial here. Now, normally it works for your volume. If you press it, it changes to your temperature. So you can adjust your temperature there, press it again, and it changes to your volume. So you can control your media through that. So a dual function button there. Most of the time, I suspect you'll use it for your volume. Behind that, pair of cup holders, decent amount of space in there, and a card holder. Plus we get a wireless charger, space for your phone, and a bit of storage space in the center there. And you may be able to see a very large storage area under the dashboard with USB-C and USB-A sockets for charging things and connecting to the system. In terms of storage, as well as that, we also get ourselves a reasonable sized glove box and pretty good door pockets as well, and a space for your phone just in the side of the door there. So overall, it's pretty well equipped in here. We also, by the way, the AI system on here, not quite as good as it is in China, in that it doesn't do things like ChatGPT, where you can ask about the weather or tourist sites, things like that, but she will control certain functions of the car. So while you don't get a button on the front here for your sunroof, you can put that into your draggable bar, well, draggable screen there from the top, and you can ask her to open the sun blind and the sunroof. And this car does come with both a full width panoramic roof or full length panoramic roof and a sunroof that actually opens up. You don't get that on many Chinese cars these days, so that's quite cool. So yeah, lovely interior here. Let's talk about the seats. I really like these. They're quite spongy, good base cushion length, gets almost up to the back of your knee. I do like the side bolsters on these. They come really high, so right up to your shoulders. So again, hold you in place really good. On all versions of this car, you get heated front seats and a heated steering wheel. And on the Max version of this car, we also get ventilated and massaging front seats as well, for £36,990, which is really impressive. You may also notice, by the way, this front seat is a princess seat, so it's actually got a leg rest that lifts up there, so you can lie down. You can go into here and go into rest mode, and if you want to chill out, maybe when you're charging the car, let your wife go shopping, something like that, you can lie there in the princess seat and relax, which is cool. We also, by the way, for the first time I managed to use these, had Isofix mountings on our front seat. A little bit of a pain in the bum to get to on the front seat, but they are much better in the back, and that is where I'm going to take you now. While passengers in the rear don't get quite the same luxuries as those in the front, we do at least still get a lot of space. So this front seat here is in the welcome position to make it easier to get in and out of when you're the driver. Despite that, I've got plenty of foot room down there, loads of knee room, really good thigh support here that goes all the way up to the back of your knees, and of course loads of headroom as well. So it really does feel quite spacious in the back, aided as well by that panoramic roof, which I believe you might only get on the Max version of this car, but it is plenty spacious. We get a few other features too. So we do get an armrest in the middle there with a pair of cup holders. If there's only two people sat in the back, you can use that. We get vents down here to guide the airflow, USB-C and USB-A sockets for charging things, bit of storage down here in the back of the front seats, in the door pocket, and some space for your phone there, and a little bit of extra space under the rear bench. We get a drawer that slides out. I would say at least about 10 litres of space in there, maximum 3.5 kilograms. Great if you've got kids for throwing toys and stuff down there for really easy access, which is very, very nice. One other thing is the Isofix mountings. This is how to do Isofix mountings. Pop up the plastic lid, there's your Isofix mounting, easy entry, fantastic. That is exactly how they should be done. The rest of the industry, learn from that. Now, the interesting thing for me coming out of the Polestar 3, not a comparable car in any sense, much bigger, much more powerful, much more sporty, and much more expensive, is that it did highlight the very blancmange-like ride and handling of the EX5, probably more so than I would have noticed at any other time. This is a car that is incredibly vague in terms of the way that it steers and the way that it rides. It really is just very blancmange-like, very squidgy over almost anything. And if you want an engaging drive, it's going to be a big negative for you in the EX5. But on the plus side, it does ride really well. So if you go over potholes and speed bumps, even cobbled streets, it rides over them without any crashes coming into the cabin. So it is a really quite a comfortable ride. So it's kind of depending on which side of the coin you sit on that one, whether you're going to like the way the EX5 drives. As I said, the steering itself is also quite vague. You feel like you're kind of in control of a waterbed, not really a lot of feeling going on through the steering. A little bit more in sport mode, but not enough to get you excited. Sport, I think, is a bit of a generous word to describe the way that this thing steers. But as I said, in terms of most people who are going to drive this car, it's actually quite comfortable. It's a lovely size for UK roads, even these country roads around here, really just glides through them nice and easy. And the best bit about the EX5's driving experience is the turning circle of just 10.8 meters, really quite nifty. In tight spaces, you can get around quite easily in the EX5. It's also got pretty reasonable performance, this car. As I said, it comes with a 160 kilowatt motor on the front axle, which does help give us that turning circle. It's about 215 to 218 horsepower, something like that. And it'll do 0 to 62 miles per hour, or 100 kilometers per hour in just 6.9 seconds. So it is quite sprightly to drive. It'll get you away from the lights more than comfortably. Another good thing about the EX5 is the refinement. So even at 70 miles per hour on the motorway, there's really not a lot of wind noise. It is very quiet in here, and everything does feel really quite well built. There's no scuttle shake or anything like that, nothing kind of rattling around. So it is a well-made car, and I think people who are looking for something that's nice and solid will appreciate the EX5. Now, when it comes to the batteries, we only get one choice in the EX5 on all versions. That is a 60.2 kilowatt hour LFP battery. Geely using their blade batteries on these, so short blade batteries, similar to those on BYD's, but they're shorter, not quite as long as BYD's batteries. It will get you a range of, I think, 269 miles on the WLTP cycle. That's on the base version of this car. If you upgrade to the Pro and the Max, that'll drop down to about 255 miles because they both get the 19-inch wheels and a bit of extra kit on board at the same time. The reality is, you don't really get anywhere near that. And actually, if I look at the energy consumption by going to the apps and look at the last 100 miles of usage in this car, we're averaging 29.1 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. In kilometers, which is how we normally measure that on the channel, that's about 17 to 18 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is quite a lot for a single motor car. So it's not been great. We've had a good mix of driving. We've been out in the countryside, we've been on the motorways, we've been in urban settings, so it's had a good blend of different kind of roads. But that's kind of what we're getting. That's the reality. It has also, by the way, been very, very cold, which might help. And you can do battery preconditioning on the EX5. You can also, by the way, do battery sharing. You can power share and charge other electric cars from your charge point if you want to. But yeah, we don't have the app, so I haven't been able to actually precondition the car, which might have helped a little bit with some of those economy figures. In terms of the charging, as I mentioned, 11 kilowatt AC charging, 100 kilowatt DC charging, 10 to 80%, I think in about 20 to 25 minutes. I've used it on a 50 kilowatt charger, which did quite well, and on a 160 kilowatt charger, which added a good amount of range. So it does actually check out in reality. The charging is good. Now, there are three versions of the EX5. You can get the SE, which is the base version, the Pro, and the Max. The SE is £31,990, so a pretty reasonable spec for that price point. You get the Pro version is £33,990, and the Max version that we have is £36,990. Again, that does compare very, very well with other cars in the market, and I do believe you get a lot of kit on the EX5, so you're not going to be too worried, I would say, about those prices. You also, by the way, can get 0% finance in the UK, and in terms of safety and warranties, you get 5-star Euro NCAP safety on the EX5, so it's got the maximum score in Euro NCAP. And in terms of the warranty, it's 8 years. That's not only for the car, 8 years, 125,000 miles for the car and for the battery as well. So again, not much to worry about in terms of whether this car is going to last a long time. You're going to be covered by the manufacturer warranty, and that's a big statement from Geely, I would say. Putting in a warranty of that length should give you some confidence with an EX5. The one thing I would mention that is the most irritating thing about the EX5, and I have to mention it, is the bings and bongs. I know that in the Europe and the UK at the moment there are requirements requiring manufacturers to have speed limit awareness, beeping, and tension awareness and stuff like that. It is a little bit too much, I would say, in the EX5. And the most irritating thing is you can't just turn it off in one go. So if you want to turn off the lane keeping assist, if you want to turn off the lane keeping assist bongs and the speed limit bongs, you have to do that via the system, and then there's lots of confirmation. It's like 3 or 4 different modes that you've got to turn off. I think they need to make that into a single option where you can turn it all off in one go, like Renault have done with the Renault 5. That kind of thing is what will make your customers much happier about all those bings and bongs. They are a little bit intrusive too, in terms of the overreaction. Sometimes there's a car parked at an angle, and if you're driving towards it, it thinks you're going to crash into it. It'll slam on the brakes and pull the seatbelt. Again, can be a little bit annoying, just needs a bit of calibration, I would say, for UK roads. The attention awareness, again, it's over the top. If I'm looking around at some buildings outside the car or some scenery, it's constantly telling me to look at the road, and that one, I haven't yet found a way to turn it off. So again, that one does need calibrating. They are little things that mostly can be solved via over-the-air updates, but they do impact on the user experience, and I think Geely might need to work on some of that. But overall, a good car to drive. It's nice and simple, easy to park with the 360-degree camera that you get on the Max version, and it does ride really well, rides nicely, it's lovely, just a little bit soft and squidgy. So that's it for our review of the Geely EX5 here in the UK. A car that certainly has all the ingredients to be a success. The biggest challenge for Geely is that they've got to get their name out in what is a very congested marketplace. But let's talk about the positives of the EX5. It's certainly got very good performance, lovely small turning circle, and it really does fit on UK roads. It's also very well equipped for the price. Lovely interior, nice and open and expansive, pretty good software, and a practical car at the same time, with decent performance and good charging too. The downsides of this car are the vague steering and handling. People who want an engaging drive may not particularly enjoy the EX5 for that. Also, those very irritating bings and bongs in the car, and the lane keep and assist software definitely do need some calibrating and some over-the-air updates to improve this car for UK consumers. But overall, as I said, very, very good car, this one, and a good starting point to get the brand in the UK with the Starray EMI and the EX2 coming up later in 2026. Thank you very much for watching. If you do, thank you for subscribing. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up so more people can see the great cars coming into the UK out of China. And as ever, we'll catch you next time.